in San Diego like this food justice conference.
Awesome. And where can people find out information about slow food?
You can go to our website at www.slowfoodusa.org, slowfoodurbansandiego.org.
All right, thanks, Dominic.
You're welcome.
So we're here with Malaki, who just gave an excellent discussion about sustainable food. And I wanted to ask you one quick question. What is the most important thing that everyday people in San Diego can do to actually improve their food source? Just simple things that people can do to produce better food.
Okay, I think I've looked at that question a few times. My first thing that I say is let us think local. So the first thing, buy your food local, know the local farm around you. Just let's start a local movement. So local can be you can grow something in your backyard, or you can support the local trader, whether it is somebody who's making soap or somebody who's just farming. Be involved in your community gardens. When you start the local economy, it begins from home.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. All right, guys, we're waiting here at the San Diego Food Justice Conference. We're about to see Raj Patel speak. The demographic here is amazing. We have people all the way up to 12 years old, all the way up to 85. Let's go check it out inside. Come on.
Right now. In fact, Lucy, since we met, the number of hungry people has gone up. Today, there are now 1 billion people who are getting less than 1,900 calories a day. And at the same time, there are 1 billion people around the world who are overweight. I don't have anything terribly sophisticated to offer in terms of analysis or PowerPoint, but I notice a whiteboard here, so I'm just going to trundle over here. And instead of a PowerPoint, I'm going to ask you to use your imaginations. This is a diagram about basically the kind of world we find ourselves in. I have to stare at this, otherwise the feedback kind of kills it. But at the top, if you imagine all the farmers in the world, the millions of farmers around the world who produce the food that we eat every day. And at the bottom, the nearly 7 billion people on Earth today who eat every day if we can. And in the middle, as arbiters of the food that goes from farmers to us, is just a handful of corporations. And this sort of hourglass diagram is a very sort of back-of-envelope representation of the way the world food system works. But it is an accurate one. In the world today, in every major commodity, in every major food commodity, whatever that commodity is, there are usually sort of 5 or 6 corporations that control the global trade in that commodity. It varies according to the thing that we're talking about. The global market in tea, for example. The world's market in packaged tea is 94% controlled by one corporation, by Unilever. 94% of the global market is controlled by just one corporation. But in every major sort of commodity market, there is sort of 5 or 6. In grain, in the global trade in grain, there's like an ABCD of these corporations. There's Archer Daniels Midland, Bunge, Cargill, and Dreyfus. These are the corporations that sort of run the global grain market. And you may think, well, maybe it's all right to have corporations distributing our food for us, because when you have corporations competing, you win. Or so we are told on late night television. But of course, in the global market in food, there is no such thing as a free market, and particularly when it comes to food, there's not really that much competition. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. You can believe the words of a man named Dwayne Andreas. And Dwayne Andreas, when he said the quote that I'm about to give you, was the chairman of Archer Daniels Midland, one of the largest corporations involved in the manufacture of food. And he had to say this about competition. He said, the customer is our enemy, and the competitor is our friend. And there is not one grain of anything in the world that is sold in a free market. Not one. The only place that you see free markets are in the speeches of politicians. And people who are not from the Midwest do not realize that this is a socialist country. Now, that's an odd thing for a CEO of a top, of a sort of Fortune 500 company to be saying that, that actually we don't live in a free market. We live in a world where corporations basically suckle on the teat of government money. And a couple of years ago, when I was sort of trying to explain this to people, particularly in America, people saying, "Oh, that's not true. We would never have corporations holding out their hands and the governments giving away trillions of dollars." So it's a little easier to explain that now.
So we just got out of the most powerful lecture I've seen pretty much all year, comparable to Chef Ann Cooper's lecture. I received my Why Vegan paperwork out here, which has nothing to do with it. I'm just going to check this out for later, but I did want to let you guys know one of the best speakers on agricultural policy, on organic foods, on agribusiness, and just the entire spectrum of how we eat and the food that goes in our bodies. We just learned a whole lot of knowledge in that stadium right there. It was amazing. So you guys check out websites related to, do a Google search on Raj Patel. He has the book called also The Power of Zero. Check it out, get educated, make some changes before, disease and sickness happen to you. So here with James Trent, lead singer for Ska Revolutionary Orchestra. We're just wondering why you're here, what are you doing?
Well, we're here today to support the Cultivating Food Justice Conference, which has been lovingly created by a committee of people over the past several months, and it's talking about issues of food justice, and that's access to food, both local and global, and all of the economic, political, and other factors that go into that. And we're really excited. We're about to perform right now. We just had the keynote speaker, Raj Patel, just gave a great, rousing speech up at the Arts and Letters building. It was really wonderful.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So we're so stoked to support this effort because food supply is such an integral issue in all kinds of ways. Political, economic, even spiritual. Food kind of cuts the root of everything, food and water access, so we're really excited to be part of it.
Excellent. Thanks, man. We're looking forward to it.
All right, Josh. Cool.
Rain gets us eating. Oh yes, you owe it to yourself. You must not give in. It's how you play the game, whether you lose or win. Stop contemplating all the ways you've been suffering. Nothing can hold you back now on your life's work begin. Oh, people must try again, try again. It's never too late.